Oh wait, I think people said hi.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't
Here,
even
I'll
see.
put it here so that we can read
Okay.
the comments
So it goes,
from yours.
Mine's a little bit.
oh, Amanda. Hey, Amanda. Hey, here's my friends. Okay.
We need you back.
So I'm coming. Okay.
Does that mean
Okay.
it's live?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
I think. Yeah, you're live.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started and introduce ourselves. And before we do that, I just want to say a thank you and a welcome to our guest. Well, it's weird because you're over here, but you're actually over here. Melanie from Melanie Page Events.
Hold on.
And Amanda, Orange Blossom Bride. So I just wanted to come on in and give us a little intro of Real Talk and what it is. Real Talk started about a year and a half ago as just kind of a creative project for myself to stay connected and meet amazing people in the wedding industry, to educate couples and to really stay connected and learn more about professionals and build a relationship in a community. So we come on every week. Once a month, and we tackle big things and talk real talk in the wedding industry. You guys are more than welcome to say hi, like us, and love us, and ask us questions. We're talking specifically about design and publication, styled shoots, all things pretty. So make sure that you like us, say hi, tag a friend, tag a couple, tag a vendor, and then let's get started.
Yeah.
So I will go ahead. We're on a few different devices, so you can follow at.
It's like,
all
where do I look?
over.
Like, where am I looking?
So we're live right now on Priscilla Rose Events Facebook and Instagram handle. So PR Events, Priscilla Rose Events. Hi. And then Mel, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself
Okay.
and your handles.
Yay. So I'm Melanie of Melanie Page Events. We are live right now on our Instagram, which is Melanie Page Events. And we'll share Priscilla's thing later once we're done here. And we're a wedding planner in Florida. Yay.
Yay.
By we, I mean me. Yeah.
And Amanda, do you want to share where you're live, if you're live?
Yeah,
Where
we
they
have
can
so
catch
many
ya.
devices going on right now. I'm going to be sharing this after the fact. So I am Amanda from Orange Blossom Bride. We're a local wedding publication just for the greater Orlando Space Coast areas. So we're in print and we're online. And our handle is OBB Weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll stop periodically and I'll check the comments and the questions. So if you guys do have questions, comments, just make sure that you kind of give us a little bit of a wave, a like, so we know to address your concerns. So I'm going to go ahead and get started and introduce a little bit further of who our guests are. When I thought about styled shoots and publications, these two women just popped in my head because they're both amazing at what they do. So I'm going to first turn to Mel and have her introduce herself again of who you are and what experience do you have with design.
Yeah, so again, I am a certified wedding planner here in Florida, kind of a little bit of everywhere, as well as Minneapolis, Minnesota. As far as design, you know, my love for, I think, really grew when I first started the business about 3 years ago. I've done quite a lot of styled shoots. So many people think I probably do too many, but I love them anyway, so I can't help it. But the reason I love design and styled shoots is because I feel like it really helps our creative process come out. I think a lot of people don't get to see that part of wedding planners as often because we are so far behind the scenes. So designing weddings is really, really fun, and it's kind of another way to help us dive into our bride and groom's mind of what they really want for wedding day and really making sure that it gets executed perfectly and it's kind of cohesive.
And
throughout
can
the
you
day of.
back up a little bit too and explain for
Yeah.
somebody who doesn't know what a styled shoot is, what that is?
Yeah, so a stylist shoot's like a mini fake wedding. And by mini, I mean like one table, but we kind of really are taking ideas that a bunch of us vendors have and really kind of putting it out there into the world so people can see what we do. So you'll see us do like one reception table, one ceremony, but it's really just a mini, really tiny fake wedding. Is exactly what it is.
So one of my favorite questions is, what's your favorite part of your job?
I think my favorite part definitely is seeing my clients' visions come to life, and I think that every time I see it all coming together on wedding day, it's kind of like a puzzle piece, you know, click, 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 it's coming together, and really seeing their happiness and their smiles on their faces, I think is something that we can never, you know, take for granted, and something that not a lot of jobs get. We can really see everything from the start to the end of it, so I think that's really my favorite part of the job, for sure.
And then what do you do when you are not running your business and being a boss babe?
I am snuggling my cats. I have 2 of them. I know. I love my cats. I literally am on the couch with leggings, a big sweatshirt on. My 2 of my cats watching Grey's Anatomy, Love is Blind on Netflix, which I can get into so many things about.
She's just got
But
me
I
started
won't.
on
I won't
it.
get into it. Or I'm shopping.
That's another real talk.
I'm shopping or planning my next travel. When my bank account says I can do it.
And
We're going to Paris.
and
Copenhagen.
planning your wedding.
Oh, that too.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Tom.
I'm doing that. It's done, so that's why I think I keep forgetting about it.
Perfect. So we're going to hear a little bit more from Melanie as well, and inspiration and design, but I want Amanda to introduce herself, who you are in the wedding industry, and kind of what your role is between couples and vendors and your process.
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, I am Amanda, and I co-own Orange Blossom Bride with my partner, Jamie. And we've been in the area for 4 years. We had our 4-year anniversary back in January. So we provide that inspiration, the tips, the guidance, and the great venues and wedding pros that can make it all come together, because we know couples are so new to the wedding world. I think as vendors, sometimes we get kind of numb to it because we know like what to do, and then we have to step back and say, couples know nothing. So we are the resource that tries to help them, guide them through each of those processes. We are not wedding planners. That is these ladies' job. We are very pro wedding planner. We have a podcast as well, and I was talking about this on the podcast today about like, you need a wedding planner. But we really help try to bring the inspirational pieces for what is going on in our area, because we're not the same as California, for sure. We're not the same as New York. You know, we're not even the same as Miami. So we are very different, and there's different aspects of having a wedding here, because we have our locals getting married here, but then we also have all the destination weddings, because we're such a tourist central place, and we have so many people coming for vacation. So we have all those wedding weekends, and we just try to merge all that together and be that resource for couples.
And it's so great that you said that, because that's part of the reason that I started Real Talk of couples don't know what they don't know. They've never spent this much money. They have no idea what flowers cost and why they cost that much. They have so many Pinterest boards that they've probably had since middle school.
Yes.
And they're just trying to make sense of everything. So education, I think, is huge, which is where Real Talk came in. But that's why I love talking with you guys, because you're here to educate couples, and that's exactly what it sounds like OB is too. It's kind of like a resource.
Well, exactly. And to play on the you don't know what you don't know, I got married 7 years. No, I'm lying. 10 years. Don't tell my husband. I'm even worse.
You are in trouble.
What's the difference? 10 years. So it'll be 10 years this year, and it was totally different back then, for sure. But even the stuff I learned because I was a vendor before I was a publication, and even the stuff I learned just in the process, I was like, I wish I knew that, and it would have went so much more smoothly, you know? So just really creating that wedding experience, because you want it to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you want to enjoy it. And that's really, maybe that came out of my bad experience for my wedding, and really trying to put that out there for couples. But really, we're a huge educational piece. That's our mission.
Love it.
So,
okay, so what's your favorite part of your job? I don't know if you kind of already answered that. But
that is definitely one of it. But this is going to sound kind of weird, but my favorite part of my job is magazine delivery day. So we're a publication as well. We're in print as well as online. And we work behind the computer all the time. We don't get to do the fun stuff like events. We get to see all the beautifulness after the fact. So when I get to go out into the community and go to the bridal shops and the venues and the jewelry shops and talk to everybody and all that good stuff, like, that's really my favorite part. And plus, I love doing the cover shoot of the magazine. That's a very close second, cover shoot of the magazine, for sure.
And you mentioned that it's OB is print and online. Do you find that the marketing is the same for both, or that the demand for both is still there? Like, brides are wanting the print just as much as online?
There's something about print. There's just something about holding it. It just, no matter, what it is, everybody just loves to hold that, and vendors love to be published in it.
We do love a good print. We do love a good print.
Yes, everybody loves print, because it's just, even though we've gone so much to online, and that's where we get so much of our information, because it is instant. It's just, there's something magical about print. So it's different vibes for each, for sure. And couples love both. So.
Okay, so when you are not being a boss babe, what's your favorite thing to do?
I'm much different than these two girls. I have 3 children, so that is what revolves around. We love Disney. Disney is our happy place.
I think it's every place.
Yeah, it's true. You don't need to have kids to make Disney your happy place. This is very true. You actually, I will preface, you probably enjoy it more.
Epcot was made for adults, I think.
That is very true. Epcot is an adult playground.
Well, I appreciate both of you again being here. I know some people are already starting to log in. People are saying hi. Lori's on. Hi,
Lori Hartwell.
Hey. So we again are just with two amazing wedding professionals. We're talking about design, publication, styled shoots, all things pretty. So we're going to kind of chat about inspiration. So if you have a question, again, if you are a vendor, if you're a couple, you just want to say hi, have any questions about design, publication process, make sure you log in. So we're going to kind of start with inspiration, and then we're going to lead kind of to the process of publication. So feel free, anyone, to jump in.
There we go.
But we're going to start with, where do I start? And this could be as a vendor, this could be as a couple. Where do I start in the design process?
Yeah, so I think a huge thing is, again, we're going back to Pinterest, all of our brides, they have these Pinterest boards. And it's not like one nice board. It's like 500 boards. And I'm like, sweetie, no. I'm going to need you to do one. So really for me, I like to grab, what they want their main color to be, their accent color, and also what they want their metal accent color to be, kind of just start very basic. And then I ask them to make me a whole brand new Pinterest board from when they got engaged. That way it's fresh, it's new ideas. Because every single day I think, brides find something new that they like. I need you to reel this in a little bit, love you, but this needs to get pulled back a little. But I also want a hate board. And while I love board and I hate board, that way I can really understand what they actually do not want for wedding day, because sometimes we'll just point at a picture and go, I love this, and I'm like, great, but what do we hate about it, and do we hate anything about that? And I think it's also really important to have the hate boards when we go to florists and rentals, as well, so that way they can also understand their vision.
Sure.
And even though I have a mood board made from at that point, it's really important to understand what they do not want, so that way we don't deliver that on the day of as well. But really starting with a main color, accent color, a metal accent color, and then just kind of what they really, really love. But again, I need this to be a brand new thing. I can't be looking at something made from 5 years ago, because it's different.
Do you typically give them any kind of guideline, or do you really want them to kind of just whatever they see? I've been on boards where it's all cakes, and I'm like,
no.
We like cake, so what else can we bring in?
I want to make sure that I have inspiration for what they want for ceremony, florals, reception, cake. So really pretty much every single aspect of it, because even their wedding dress, because their wedding dress is something that is also going to be a huge role, I think, in their wedding day. If they can wear a dress anywhere, but I want to make sure that it also is staying true to them. That way I can also see what the bride is really like personality-wise, because I'm pretty sure their design is also a part of who they are. So I'm trying to make sure I also understand who they are as a person and really bring that out in their wedding at the same time. But I want to see everything, but in the pictures, I also want them to comment what they like about it. So they can show us a huge picture and go, I love it. I'm like, great, but what do we really, really love about it? Because if it's just a picture, I can get so many things from that. I really need to know exactly what they love about that one picture itself.
And then you offer design services.
I do.
Okay.
So we offer design in our partial and full planning. We can always add love planning that we do, but we definitely offer design in any aspect that they need it. With it, we do one design meeting with our clients to really understand what they want, create the mood board, and then we go with that to everywhere else.
Okay. And this is kind of, again, open up to what you guys have both seen in the publication world and the designing world, but what inspiration is currently, and this is a really scary question, but what is currently trending? Because, again, we know with social media, and we know of all the TV shows, and, my weddings, and all these types of shows, and Pinterest. Pinterest. What inspiration is kind of trending right now? That might be a trick question. I know you're giving me a look, and I don't know what that is.
It can go in so many different ways, though.
Yes, you could. And I mean, it's very catered to the area that we're in. So every area is different. California tends to be a little bit ahead of the trends, and
we're behind, aren't we?
Yeah, we're a little bit behind. But at the end of the day, it's really what the couple wants. A trend is just an idea that they could incorporate in their wedding. Yes. Of course, it being all the 1920s themes, because it's 2020, so roaring 20s. It's a huge theme. And flowers, huge statement flowers, backdrops, that type of stuff. Which with Pinterest, we see a lot of that, and that can be very misleading for couples, because Pinterest doesn't come with price tags, as you know. So using those and being honest with your vendors and really telling them what you're looking for, and you'd be surprised what they can scheme up. Melanie's amazing at coming up with these designs and working within your budget, but giving you that look that you want. So,
and that's important too, because I think a lot of couples, I know, of course, the boho chic is trending right now, and a lot of couples are asking for that natural look. And I don't know if it's because they think it's more cost efficient to kind of go like with the natural look. And so I guess that's why I'm kind of going there too, of like, what do you guys think about as far as what's trending and what's realistic? And some people want the natural look because they feel it's more timeless and they're not going to look back and be like, what was I thinking?
I think really, like going back to what you said, Amanda, like it kind of really depends on also where we are. For our Minneapolis brides, they're definitely more boho. We have kind of up there more of the hills and the mountains and the pines, so all of our brides are really playing with the nature aspect of it in our Minneapolis. But then down here, we find more of like the rich jewel tone falls. And the good thing about Florida is that it's never really winter, so I think that we get a lot more summer color based or spring color based weddings more in Florida than we kind of really do anywhere else as well. But you know, a really important thing, and I know that we've all talked about it, is really stay within the budget. It's important for us to know what your budget is so we can really get your design and what you want with it in it as well. Right. Because, you know, boho may look like it's more cost effective, but it's really not. You know, Pampas grass runs way more expensive.
Especially if they're not in season.
Yes, especially if they're not in season. So it's really also more about understanding what you like and then taking it to a florist saying, okay, here's what she wants, what's in season, as well as what's cost effective within her budget. You know, I try to design within someone's budget. I don't want to ever design something that's out of budget, knowing that it'll break their heart at the same time too. So it's
which
really
is
important.
also why you need a planner to help steer those conversations. Yeah. Okay, so I'm totally going off script really quick, but it's real talk. So I always love to ask. Sorry, I always like to ask vendors what they love and like what's trending. But I also like to ask what is something. And I know that this is difficult. It's coming. I know it's hard as a professional to be like, don't do this. But is there any trend, and I don't want to say that's necessarily that needs to go away, but maybe that needs to be like redone, we'll use, or something where, because again, I think a lot of couples ask, what's trending, what should I do? But let's flip it in, maybe what could be done differently.
I think that we need to redefine the word rustic because I mean, burlap is
real talk.
No. I think we can always, I think there's a new way to redefine rustic and maybe bring that up to date. I don't know how you guys feel about that because I feel like every time I see a rustic bride, they're like, burlap, mason jars. I'm like, but we can always change this. You know, rustic doesn't mean burlap or mason jars. Yeah, it can mean something so much more. Maybe we do like, you know, wood stumps somewhere else, or we do something really creative and play with what the rustic colors are. So maybe saying to more like neutrals and playing in that way. But I feel like maybe there's a way can redefine what that means. That's just me.
I really like things, and I don't think this is kind of a design aspect. This is more of the planning logistics of it, but it can come into the design of, I love when couples go outside the box and they stop doing that, because I constantly hear, and you probably do as a planner as well, of, am I supposed to do this? Is this allowed? I mean, things with even like cake cutting. Do I have to cut the cake? You don't have to do anything. Like, how can we, I mean, let's put a cake upside down. Let's get creative in the design. I think that it's just bringing in elements that really kind of hone in on the couple as well, and finding personal touches. I think that's, no matter if it's boho or rustic or whatever you choose, bringing in your personal touches, I think, are always great for designs and publications.
Well, and when you're talking on trends, I mean, if that would be considered a trend of making your wedding your own, that has really stood front and center the past few years. Couples are trying to do, you know, even if it's something silly like their favorite is a dessert that they like from a place that they go to all the time. Like, it doesn't have to be these big, elaborate, like, everything is totally unique. It doesn't have to be that. It's just these little nods that when your guests come to your wedding, they're like, oh, I remember that because they had this. And it's not huge and elaborate, but it makes it personal. And I love that has shifted from somebody who did get married so long ago, very traditional Catholic church, all, you know, Italian family, all that. But that wasn't really a thing back then. And so that's the biggest trend I think we're seeing, which is wonderful, because that's so open. You get the opportunity to make it your own. That's the trend. I mean, how great is that?
Right, exactly.
You could be on trend without being on trend.
Exactly. Just being you. I think that's important.
That's the best.
So we are going to keep diving into design and publications again. People are saying hi. Hi, ladies.
I can't really see anything. It's like really far away. Like, I don't have that great eyesight.
Richard Sprinkles. Hi, Richard. You said hi.
Hello, everyone.
Lots of friends popping in. Why should we, let's talk about, so we're going to talk more about design and like what we should and shouldn't maybe look for when we're getting our design. But another question is why and kind of how, as a couple and as a vendor, how do we get published? Why go for a publication as a couple? Or do you have couples that come to you because they want to be published, so they want to design? Or I guess, how is the process for each of your different expertise in the area of how that looks? Why should I get published?
There's always great. I think vendors. Definitely take publications a little more than couples do, only because we want to show it off, like not in a bad way, but like we're so proud of what we all came together to do for someone. And I think also for a couple, it's really rewarding for them, or just an extra like cherry on top, like, oh, like I'm in a magazine. I think that's also one thing for them. I think it definitely is more kind of appealing to vendors though at some point. When we're sitting down and designing, I talk to the couples to see what they're looking for, and if it's something that I think definitely can get published, I talk to my photographers and all of them saying, okay, like we're aiming for it. I talked to the couple, they really want to do it. Here's the shots that we need. Can you get these shots? And then just based off the style itself, it's kind of how I pair it up to different publications. It would work for this blog, it would work for this blog, it would work for this magazine, kind of going from there at the same time. But I think it's definitely more of a vendor thing and a couple thing, but I could be wrong on that.
And that's huge too, of who you want to get.
Yeah.
And where you want to get published.
Yes.
Is knowing. And I think that plays a role in the design, because only certain magazines will take certain designs, especially if it's an exclusive publication or magazine. So that's also something to consider, maybe if you are looking to get published, to reach out for design help, because you want to make sure that you're going to kind of hit that market.
For sure.
And absolutely, there's well over 100 blogs out there that are catered to weddings. You're talking regional blogs, you're talking city-based blogs, style blogs. There's blogs that are just film-based for photographers. I mean, there's so many options. We always like to say in the publication world, there's a home for every wedding. Like, you just have to know where you're going to put it.
Exactly.
So you really can find if that's a goal that you're in. For us, since we're a local-based publication, we're not like a national blog where we're really, really particular, because we want to showcase the variety of what we can offer here. And going back to what you guys were saying about like rustic and that kind of stuff, and the different styles of weddings, like up in Minnesota, you have a lot of boho brides. We have so many different venue styles here that it's just so many different types of weddings. You couldn't say like, oh, Orlando really has this one type, because it's very, varied from more ethnic weddings, with a huge Indian community for weddings and all kinds of stuff. So it's really just knowing what that target is for the publication that you're trying to look for.
Absolutely. So how do I go about with, I've decided I want to publish, or I'm a vendor, and do I need to spend a lot of money to do that? Can I create one kind of scene, or how does that look as far as for couples and for vendors of the process? And
I'll let you throw that.
Okay. So for that, I think, and I don't want to speak for all publications, but we do talk. We all do talk. And I think for us, what we're really looking for is that unique component. When you're on Pinterest and you're making inspiration boards, keeping an inspiration for that, not a blueprint of this is what you're doing, because when it comes for a publication, if it's on Pinterest, it's already been seen, or seen, not seen. That's not a word. Sorry. Thank you. So really trying to give your unique twist to that, because that's going to be the key to publishing when it comes to style shoots. Now, when you're talking about real weddings, of course, we want to know that unique story, anything behind those special details that you have, because of course those weddings came off of stuff that they've seen. So it's just a different, when you're doing a style shoot, you don't need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. Melanie knows this because she does so many of them.
I do.
But it's just really putting that personal touch, because every blog wants to have the really unique content to give to their readers.
Yeah, for sure. And you really don't have to spend a lot of money, especially if you're a vendor doing a styled shoot. Vendors in the area, and I think really any area you do it in, because I've done some now in Minneapolis and in Florida, vendors want to do something different, so they're always willing to donate their services, but at the same time also kind of be, I guess, like realistic on what people are going to donate. I personally have no problem paying for certain things, especially because I know what I want, especially when it comes to flowers. So definitely be realistic if you're coming out of a vendor side into style shoots. But at the same time, vendors are also very willing to donate their time, especially when it is for something so unique and special that they haven't maybe done before, because it also gives them opportunity to showcase what they can do as a vendor.
Of course. And I think that we've kind of started diving into the publication part, so let's just go ahead and dive into the publication part. Do you typically create, and I guess this is more design, but do you typically create styled shoots with a publication in mind, or do you kind of create it and just see what happens?
I don't like to limit my creatives and myself, so I definitely just kind of create like what I'm feeling and say, here's what I'm looking for. However, as you as a creative, I want you to take it in your own personal aspect and do it. And then I think once it's over, I'm like, okay, here's where I know it would do well at. Let's see if they'll take it. If they don't, but I just don't like to put the limitations, I guess, on it. Now, for a wedding, that's completely different because you have to think about what the bride and the groom itself or the couple wants it to look like, and at that point you kind of already have in mind like these are the publications I know would work at, so it's not limited in that aspect. But for style shoots, I don't like to put limits on it. So
and with style shoots, it's always nice to have the publications, but again, it's important to know who you are wanting to, who your audience is, because I've done style shoots where my purpose was for my vendors to actually get kind of behind the scenes shots. And if I'm already showcasing what I'm doing, some magazines and publications won't take it because it has to be very exclusive or nothing's been seen. But the point of that styled shoot was so creatives had something to kind of, no one really knows what a planner does until they see it happen.
For sure.
Photographers have their pictures and you can, taste a baker's cake. But planners, we have to kind of show you what our job is and what our role is. So sometimes styled shoots can be kind of a I don't want to say marketing tool, but a marketing tool to kind of show what you do as a wedding professional.
Well, to jump in on that, I'm really glad that you said having a purpose, because I remember as a vendor and even talking to vendors now in my role is that, they spend the money, they do the style shoots, and then nothing happens because there wasn't a goal set out. Yeah. So if the goal is for publication, but you're waiting to see what the end product looks like, but you still know what the goal is.
Yeah,
sure. If it's marketing, that's great, because everybody's time is valuable, and we want to make sure that all that is useful for everyone. So for those who are organizing style shoots or are thinking about doing one, always have that and be very open with everybody involved of what's
everyone
going on
should
with
also
that.
know of the purpose.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that a huge thing for them is always marketing in some way, and publication I think is always like a main end goal at the same time. So definitely just being honest, because I would hate, I've had a lot of vendor friends come to me saying that they did it but they never get the gallery back, and I'm like, that's not fair, because you put in all the work into it. So I think that everyone needs to be on the same page of what's going to happen, and everyone needs to also understand that they're sharing the work as well. So people need to get what they did put into it, if that makes sense. If you did it, we need pictures back, we need this back at the same time. Yep.
So we kind of know the beginning, and we know why maybe we want published and what we can get out of it. So what is my actual process of getting published?
There's definitely different ways. I know that some people out there, you can just go ahead and publish it or ask for publication on the website and kind of submit it that way. There's Matchology, there's Two Bright Lights, and I know that you know a lot about that because you're on Matchology.
Yeah, so we're on Matchology. It's just a vendor, publication match. So you just select what your your shoot was about or your real wedding, and it'll help match it so you know where your options are for that. Just going with what Melanie said, every publication is different. So there's not a straight, you do this and you'll get published. We all have our separate rules, and what we're looking for, because we do have different content. So really knowing the publisher, it's very kind to us, because we feel like, you took the time to figure out what we're looking for and you're sending us stuff. One thing I will say is this goes across the board. This is every publisher. When you do, for vendors, when you do submit a gallery, curate it. Don't send us a full gallery. We just don't have the time to look through it all. And we want to see the best of the best. And I remember when I first started and people would send that until I was very explicit about it. But, it's hard sometimes to pick as a publication, because we can't put 100 photos on your blog post. So we put for style shoots max about 20. And if you're showing me 100, it's still really hard for me. If it's a really great shoot, I'm like, but if I took this, but then if I never knew it was there,
for
I
sure.
don't have to worry about it, So just make it easier for the publisher in that aspect to get you published quicker.
I think that us as vendors, though, we need to be realistic. There's always a chance it's not going to get taken. So don't take it so hard. Don't take it to heart. The work is always going to be great. You put your heart into it, but also you have to just have that mind of it could always not get published. I know that when I did my first few, I was always so heartbroken that no one picked it up. But it also helps you learn at the same time. But just don't get heartbroken about it. It's okay. You still put your it's still beautiful in its own way.
Absolutely. So. And at the end of the day, this is more to the vendors aspect of it, but the connections that you build through style
Absolutely.
shoots. I can tell you as a vendor, the very first style shoot I did, and she's one of our members now. So shout out to Michelle from Baker's Cottage Cakes. We both did our very first style shoot together, and you know, we are close now today. So those relationships that you build through style shoots, even if you don't get published, you have the marketing material and you have networking. So you're still very valuable.
Absolutely.
Very.
Okay, so what things? These are my favorite questions.
Oh gosh, I'm scared.
I love like the what shouldn't you do's because it's real talk. Let's be honest. So what things would keep me, and I guess not necessarily keep me from being published, but what are some things maybe we've talked a lot about like what people are looking for and what is kind of like being unique and those types of things. What might keep me from being published?
I think not having all of the details in there, if that makes sense. I know a lot of times a lot of things won't get picked up because like you didn't do an invitation suite, you didn't do a ceremony thing. Like I think, and you can, I don't know if you feel the same way, but when you're looking at publication, you're looking for everything, like ceremony, inspiration, reception, you know, invitation suite, what the bride's wearing, the hair, the makeup. So I think that there's always, if you don't do something, there's always a good chance it might not get picked up because you didn't do the full thing. I feel like a lot of people are looking for the full inspiration from a shoot, not just here's a table, here's this, call it a day kind of thing.
Absolutely. And once again, speak for myself, but talking to other publications, that is very true. And it doesn't have to be crazy, doesn't have to be super over the top. Remember, unique details is what we are looking for.
Correct.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of simple style shoots too, and they've gotten picked up. So you definitely don't have to do like, I have to do this many things. It has to be so over top. Like it does not have to be over top. It just to be beautiful in its own way. And just make sure I think you cover all like the basis of like what you're trying to inspiration for.
Yeah, and you have to think of the mentality of the couple going to that site. So if a couple's coming to Orange Blossom Bride, they mostly, even though we're local, they most likely don't know that couple. Or I'm talking real weddings wise. So they don't know that couple, so they are looking for inspiration. However, when they would go to like Melanie's site, if she were to put the wedding on her blog, you know, they may be the couple or the family coming, and then they relive all that, and you know, she wants to show off her couple and everything she did for them, so it's a little bit more personal and catered to whatever the platform is
for
as well.
sure.
Okay, so we're going to go into a part of the Real Talk where typically it's rapid fire where we kind of ask as many questions as we can, but we're going to kind of just keep going into this discussion because, well, I want to hear what you guys have to say. So,
Good, because I don't think that fast.
I just
well, it's
for a
funny
minute.
because, so, little evolution of Real Talk. So it started off where our first Real Talk was, oh my gosh, there were so many of us. Richard from Sprinkles, our DJ Rocks, it was myself, Embraced by Kara. There was just a bunch of us in one room. And there were so many questions, and there was such great discussion that I was like, guys, we're running out of time. We've been on here for like 2 hours. So we created this like rapid fire. We're just going to ask as many questions, and we'd pick up and kind of rapid fire. And then it turned into kind of a keep, update, or toss little segment where we would throw something out there like rustic weddings, keep, toss, or update. And it got interesting. We did that with the royal wedding as well. Like, you know, tiaras on wedding day, keep, toss, or update. So that's always fun. Maybe we'll throw a few in those. So, what's your favorite thing? And these are kind of just open-ended questions. What's your favorite thing about designing?
I think just because it's always different. Like even if like your couple comes through the same like colors, you can always make it just different. I think personalized to who you are designing for, so it's never the same. And then I think it's again another way to see the whole entire process from beginning to end because you're actually designing it and then you're finishing it out as well.
And I think it's fun too, matching when you hear couples come in with like a design or an idea, even honestly a budget that you get to kind of, you know, vendors so well that you get to kind of match.
Yeah.
And then like this relationship kind of just sparks with vendors and couples as well, and that I think that's really cool. Okay, another question.
Oh gosh.
What's your favorite? Oh, sorry, it's here. What's your favorite current style? I know we kind of talked about this.
I like the colors.
Which is crazy because I'm a very neutral person.
Same.
But I love the jewel tones and the boho. Like when you mix those two together,
Clearly,
beautiful.
Clearly, I'm on the.
I know, and that's been. I mean, believe me, I love macrame too. It's all in my office. But it's been around for a while, and I love it. Every time I see a submission, people have been trying to say it. I just love boho. That was our last cover of the magazine. Like it was at the Acre. It was just.
I want to lay in a bed of macrame and pampas grass.
I know, I can't
it's
help
beautiful, but I think color, like even like not just jewel tones, like the summer colors. Like I don't know why I wanted to wear like pink and mustard yellow and like it sounds weird, but orange. Like all of them together.
Mustard yellow.
Like I have a style shoot coming up in a few weeks. at the Mulberry with really great vendors. And I have Katie with Gatherer Foil Co. And I cannot wait to see what she's doing. 'Cause it's really just like pinks and yellows and oranges and just throw up color everywhere.
Well, and I think
so
that like
excited.
last year was so greenery and white, So when color pops up on the
Yes.
submission, it's like,
Finally.
And
It's
see,
like,
that's the thing,
yes.
and that's what I like to tell couples is that, you know, it's your wedding. And we get this with Blush and Gold a lot. Because
and
vendors
Navy.
have seen Blush and Gold
Yes.
1,010,000 times. And the thing is if a bride has dreamed of Blush and Gold her whole entire life for her wedding day, you know, then you do you. That's
Yes.
all about what you want. Same thing with the white and greenery. It is timeless. I mean, you can look at it and it's going to be great in 10 years. It just is. But color is just so lively. And it's so fun, and it's something out of the ordinary, and you can do so much. Like, there's so many color combinations. And what I love about when they, you know, with the jewel tones, it's just so many color combinations
Yes.
that
I
it's
love
like,
jewels.
boom,
There
pop
was
color.
one wedding that Priscilla helped me out, and she knows exactly which one I'm talking about. It was in November, and it was beautiful. It was Ashley and Josh's wedding at the Mulberry, black and white, but then they had colored flowers. And I was like, I am obsessed. Like, where can this come from? I need it more often in my life. But literally the most beautiful thing, because all the colors were just so different. Like, everything was black. So the bridesmaids were in black dresses. Like,
It was so
it was
like
so
sharp.
minimalistic.
It was so
Yeah.
sleek. It was so, and I think people.
Gorgeous.
I love pops of color. Like you said, it's just that you get a lot of couples that want the whites, the ivories, the eucalyptus. That because it is such a, it's a classic look. It's I mean
So
it's easy to
classic.
work with. I think that they think it's a lot more cost effective also.
Yeah.
But I just love a pop of color in it. But I think that people are afraid to use color because they don't know how to do it,
Yes.
which
but
is why you hire someone for design.
Yeah, but I also don't mind like the classic looks too. Like I have a bride in January who I'm designing for. Her name's Kristen, and she wants the green and whites, but we're doing green our evergreen velvet linens, and we're playing with them. It's not just like the basics, like classic standard linens and everything. So we're really playing with it, but we're going to do pops of colors in her flowers, like in her bouquets. But everything else will be white. So I'm very excited about that one too, because I think you can do traditional in a whole new way that maybe people haven't seen. But I do love me some like color right
Also
now.
velvet.
Well,
I
and
want
you
to lay
see
in
that
velvet.
with the
Yes.
the textures added, like you were
Yes.
saying, that makes a huge difference as well. Even in the bouquets, even if it is white and greenery, and you add those different textures in there, it really makes it all pop. To where it's like
Playing
a twist
with
on
textures
classic.
and
Yes, because
and
textures
playing
also
with
help in
metallics.
a different way too. Like you can stay simple, but I have some amazing brides who, again, like if they are budget conscious, we play up with the textures and the linens. Even if it's just a sweetheart table linen or your cake table linen, or maybe the texture is in your cake. Like going back to Michelle at Baker's Cottage, she really knows how to do that texture. This weekend I saw one that she did like a print in it, but it wasn't too much, you know, and it was beautiful. So I think that if you are being budget conscious, there's still a great way to design a beautiful wedding and really just bringing out certain things in different areas. So
And that goes, and we didn't really talk too much about it, but with the styled shoots, like how to incorporate styled shoots in your weddings.
Yes.
Because that is huge, because we've heard a lot of brides and, you know, people designing their wedding, they're just saying it's just so expensive. You know, if I were to do that on all of my tables, like I could never afford that. Don't do it on all your tables.
Yeah.
Have your focal points, your cake, your sweetheart table,
Your bridal
repurpose
party.
things.
Exactly.
All that stuff.
Repurposing, I think, is my new favorite thing that I'm doing for a lot of my brides who want something different and unique, but also like they don't want to spend a lot of money. We put all the money into ceremony and we just flip everything to reception, and it's beyond beautiful. And florists are willing to stay and help flip at the same time to get that same look, but still make it look like it's two different pieces that we never flipped in the first place, if that makes sense. But also neon signs are trending, and I do love me a good neon sign. Forgot about that one.
So many good things.
Yes, all the good things about neon sign, everything.
So many good things. Okay. And again, we've kind of touched on some of these things, but what's the most asked for look typically? Or is what you're seeing the most of, or the most asked?
Boho. For me, I have a lot of boho brides.
Yeah,
I
you
want
have a lot of
I do have a lot of.
Yeah.
I mean, I love them,
Really
so it's
do.
fine. But I also have a lot of, I think, classic and traditional brides coming up too. But I think boho. I mean, that's what I get a lot of brides that ask for. But they also want it in different ways, and that makes sense. So boho to them means something different. But I do get a lot of boho brides, and I don't hate it. I love it.
Yeah.
So
I would love that too.
It's
and
amazing.
that goes back to your rustic comment of how the interpretation of something is very different. So like a boho bride, you know, may want just like macrame backdrop for their ceremony, and then another boho bride wants to get married in a field, like you know, with campers and all this stuff. So couples have very different interpretations of
Everything.
things, but things have very different. You know, there's different styles for that. So
like intimate's a big one I think that we come across of like we have to interpret what does intimate mean to you. We're looking for an intimate feeling, or we're talking about 20 to 50 guests call a day intimate.
Right.
So that's also like a big thing too. Is really making sure that we understand what certain things mean to them, because we could take it one way, but to them it's like, no, this is what I mean by saying this.
They want their 300 guest wedding to be intimate.
They do. Yeah, so intimate. Let me just figure that out. So 20 candles a table is
and it really was like, oh, I just want a lot of candlelight. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Because we want candlelit dinner.
Right. Yeah. I'm still getting a lot of the garland brides, a lot of whites, a lot of ivories. So I would love to see some like fun centerpieces. Something.
Yeah. I think that's what my couples are really getting into different. So, and I love garland, so do not ever get rid of garland. I think it's beautiful.
And again, it can be repurposed.
It can be repurposed.
So
like we can do it, you know, on draping. We can do it in so many different ways. But I think starting in fall in 2021, we're going to see a lot more brides who are doing more centerpieces, and I think garland's going to start slowly being less. So that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. Okay. I know, Mel, you've been waiting for this.
I hate. No.
All right, waiting for this question. What do you think, and if you don't know, the color of the year for 2020,
Oh, there.
what's happening?
We know.
Is classic blue. Dramatic pause. What do you think
dramatic pause there.
of the color blue?
I love the color
Classic.
blue. I love
Classic.
blue. I had a bride this past weekend who did blue in a very beautiful way. So shout out to Mackenzie and Matt, because it was beautiful.
They did.
And they really did. And I think you can do blue in so many different ways. However, as color of the year, there were so many better options. So Pantone, I think.
And what was it last year? Like a coral?
Yeah, and I was not happy with that either.
Was it
So,
coral last year?
Especially leaving beachside. Like,
yeah.
no.
Well, with that, the color of the year isn't just for us wedding people.
True.
We like to think it is, but it is definitely not. And pretty much, although I'm wearing green today, most of my wardrobe is blue. So clearly, I like the color. But when it was announced, I'm sure anybody who saw my post, I was very disappointed. And
I put this
many
question in
people,
for them.
Yeah, many of
Oh,
them
it's a
jumped
very
at
hard
me.
subject.
Like, oh my gosh, how do you not like blue? I'm like, I love blue. I just don't see that happening for weddings. But then, two things came to mind. Was it gives an opportunity for y'all to be very creative with your shoots. And the other thing was, I had stopped over at OWPR, Orlando Wedding and Party Rentals.
Oh, and Amy was just on too.
Oh, hi. And so I stopped over there, and they always have somebody do a mock-up table.
Yeah.
And I saw, because Mr. Lee Forrest is ahead of the trends, he had done a beautiful design
Of course he did.
Yeah,
with the
impressive.
classic blue, and it was, you know, those old school ceramic that's white and blue.
Yes, I do.
And it was so gorgeous. And I don't know why I didn't think of that before, but I'm like, that could be so elegant and so timeless
Yeah.
if done right.
With that black and white
Yeah.
color palette as well.
And I'm purposely not doing classic blue stuff this year. 'Cause I feel like it could have been so many different other colors, like mustard yellow.
I was about to say, I was rooting for yellow.
Yes.
Mustard yellow is
So
so
With the
for
boho
yellow.
Yes.
trend and everything.
And so is like a rust orange. A lot of my fall brides. Yeah, there's one that I'm designing,
I do love
and
orange.
she is doing black, white, and rust orange as her colors, and I cannot wait for this one because it's going to be so different and so beautiful. And shout out to Brooke. But I was really hoping for mustard yellow. I was like really rooting
Yellow.
for it. So
Yellow.
2021, I'm hoping something different comes along. 'Cause I think it also helps though with like brides actually picking out their wedding colors. They go, well, what's the color of the year? Classic blue. That's it. I'm like, no. What are your favorite colors?
Right.
Let's go from there. So
Yeah, and it's for people doing style shoots. It's kind of giving you the opportunity to step out of the wedding industry, and
Yeah.
that's when a lot of great inspiration and those unique components that publications love come from. When you're not looking in the wedding industry, when you're
Yeah.
stepping outside, and inspiration can come from anywhere.
And
Yeah.
my because I like to be devil's advocate, but yeah, sorry, my kitty. She so how often do you get style shoots? She's like, no, we're.
I guess she senses I'm a dog person.
She is that.
But
She
you
will
know
come
a
up
cat
to you,
person.
Please
Come on.
pet me, and then she'll walk away. So how often do you get style shoots coming in because of the color of the year that gets announced that you're like flushed with blue? Does that often?
With this color of the year, or
how about one that we like? Actually?
yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
poor
you
classic
get-
blue.
Yeah,
I guess I'll just
there was a really beautiful style shoot. Alejandra from Everything Cake,
Love her.
she had done a really gorgeous classic blue inspired shoot at Lake Nona Country Club. I think Victoria
she's there.
Angelo was the photographer,
Yes.
and it was beautiful. It had like silver accent, silver I was about to say gold leaf. That's contradicting.
So
You know what I mean? Like silver leafing on it. And so it can be done really elegantly, but I think people are just having a love-hate relationship with this color to where we're not getting an influx
No.
of that. Because it's not a
There is
traditional...
nothing love-hate in
nothing.
this room.
Well,
It's all
I
hate.
like blue.
it's just not
I
a
like
traditional
blue.
wedding color to where you could pull from like old content
Yeah.
either, you know.
Yeah.
So we did have a really pretty beachy style shoot that was with that color from a couple of years ago, and it's still relevant. But it was that's really all we pulled from.
Yeah.
But we really didn't have too much. But you know, and then you have those who are very into style shoots.
Mhm.
And they organize those, and so they will model it around because they know the publishers are looking for that content. So, I know we won't be getting any from Melanie this year.
No,
but
not the blue. Sorry, guys. I'm
Now
really
I would
going
stick.
towards other
Now I
ones.
would stick a man in a classic blue suit. I would
Yes, classic blue suits will never go out of style. Navy and even like those lighter blues are coming into like those suits and tuxedos, which are really nice. But listen, I love blue, but I'm not styling it anymore.
Man,
Not for
a
style
blue-
shoots.
A blue suit does it for me though.
It is
classic blue
with a cute
suit.
little bow tie or like a long tie,
No.
especially a little boy.
No.
That's like a little gray marriage and a cute little suit with a little bow tie.
Yeah.
I just want to squeeze his cheeks.
Because there's
Yes,
space.
little suspenders. Okay, so we can do blue, but just let's go
in
somewhere
select
else.
spots.
Select, but let's get a new color beer.
Okay, so, and well, we'll ask this question: how many style shoots have you created?
Oh gosh, this year or
Yeah.
tile itself? Well, last year I did 10. This year I'm doing 3.
And for
The
vendors,
Paris
that's
thing.
a lot.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
I really
She's
have-
amazing at it, but that's a lot.
I have gray hair for a reason, guys. So let's just keep this in mind. Last year I did 10. This year I'm sticking at 3. Paris being the big one that we're doing together. Which, by the way, yes, wedding planners can co-create on a style photo shoot. It does happen all the time. And then I think the year before that I did like 7. So I'm almost a little over 20. Which, with being 3 years in business, is too much.
A lot.
Yeah, don't. It's great. Doing that plus 40 weddings a year, I don't. 60 events is pretty much what it was all about.
Stay tuned for our style shoot. We're going international, so you'll be getting those photos.
Yes, us and
Have a
Afton-
special
yeah.
section on the blog for that one.
Yes, us with Afton and Fern and Curl Designs. We're really excited. So
And
August,
really broke.
and really broke.
Because
Well, I would just
That's
like to
real
say
talk.
this is another
This is
example
real talk.
that I didn't get an invite to this. You
You
may
can
invite
come.
a publisher.
You can come.
Yeah.
It's invited
Last
to
minute
everyone.
tickets to Paris. Oh
No,
yeah.
they weren't that bad though. And our flights keep getting changed. Like literally, we
That's
get
okay.
notifications every single week that our flight got changed.
Oh.
That's the point. Point of the matter is,
Mel's gonna do a
I'll
classic
enjoy
blue
the
shoot.
pictures.
no, I'm not. Nope, not happening. Nope.
All right. Do you have a signature piece in every design? So
I-
is there something that you
I'm a floral
like? You leave
person. Wait, what do you mean?
like a signature, like you always have to incorporate a certain color, or maybe it's
Oh.
like it's your signature. Like this is a Melanie Page design.
I think my signature is just a floral. I do a lot of florals in my style photo shoots. That's where I'm okay paying for certain things because I know what I want, especially when it comes to florals. But I love floral, so I think in all my style photo shoots, you will see that I have majority more floral than I do pretty much like anything else. Or I'm known for also doing more than one wedding gown, so you can see how 2 can work with one design itself at the same time. So, but I do video of all my style photo shoots. I don't know. I do too many things. I really don't know. Ask me. I don't know.
And I guess it's kind of a hard question for you, Amanda, because you kind of have to be varied. But is there something are there designs or styles that you tend to gravitate towards, like that you have kind of like a signature look that you like to kind of publish, or?
So there's my personal feeling on styles. So I sometimes have to step back and realize that we service a
Everyone.
wide number, which is nice to have Jamie, my partner, because Jamie is very much with the elegant, you know, the luxury, and I'm, give me all the boho,
Yeah.
give me all the simple elegance, all that kind of stuff. So balancing out in that aspect. So we just make sure we're not doing too much of,
Yeah. Definitely 2 different things.
yeah.
Which is nice. You have to.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. Well, and going back to having so many different couples, not even just local, just, all the people who see our stuff, we have to be there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, and I put this question in because I thought it was important because I find that a lot of couples actually too kind of forget this piece. But what do I need to know about stationery and calligraphy and design and publication?
I love me some good calligraphy and stationery. It's one of my favorite things. Shout out to my girls. Do tell Anna Mejia because I love them to death. But it's so important, even if you just get like little things. You don't have to get a lot from I think people think that, oh, I have to get all my envelopes like calligraphy. No. You can just get like a seating chart from them or a place card from them. But it's a really beautiful aspect, and I think making your whole entire event different and unique. And calligraphers are also really good designers. You can just say, here's what I'm looking for, but please design something on your own, and they can custom build the crap out of anything. Like I've seen the most beautiful things from calligraphers, I think, and stationery people, because they can do so much. They know what they can graphic design, they know what things will look like from start to finish, and it's just, I mean, again, you don't have to get so many things from them. You can get just welcome sign, unplugged ceremony sign, you can get bar menu signs, you can get your seating chart, place cards. You can get so much from them that it can also be cost effective in the same way by just getting little things for them, but it makes a huge difference on wedding day than you just writing it yourself, because you can see the difference. There is definitely a difference between Cricut and vinyl and you writing it yourself than a calligrapher who actually can do it and it looks beautiful.
Yeah. And I think it was Margaret from Do Tell, who I had seen her stories one time or something she posted on Instagram, and she was saying how if you do go the invitation route and you have a calligrapher do that or a designer, and it's kind of like your wedding brand.
Yes.
Because they get it first, so it sets the tone of what your guests will expect for the whole experience, because at the end, that's what you're creating. You're creating an experience for them. But if it isn't in the budget, because that can be a little costly to do a full invitation suite for all of your guests, having those signature signs are amazing.
Yes.
Even like the signature drink signs, which I love the signature drink idea. That's just, side note, that's like great for weddings. So full bars are not my...
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that you can do calligraphy in a really cost-effective way. Like, again, you don't have to get the full invitation suite from them. You can just get the little signs on wedding day that really do make a full difference, especially if you are trying to get published. Like, if you're a couple who your goal at the beginning is, I need to get published, definitely look into calligrapher and stationery, because they will know what to do. Even, like, Rebel Co., they make those custom signage that is beautiful. Like, you can do so many things. You don't have to just get invitation suite from them. You don't have to get anything besides signage from them. They can do pretty much anything you want at the end of the day.
And signage serves so many purposes.
So
for
many.
publication,
Absolutely.
for guidance, for cohesiveness. Like there's just, it's just great.
And you can get just one sign, you can get one seating chart, get one welcome sign, get just whatever you want. Like, you can do drink stores, you can do so many different things that I think it's still a growing trend of people understanding like what you can actually get for someone in that job. And again, they can custom build anything. Like, it's really a personalized, and going back to like being you, it's a great way to personalize your entire wedding and tie yourself into it. So I'm a huge fan of all that.
And fun ways to add more of those colors, like with those acrylic signs. And
it's an amazing way. Like, I got my save the dates from Anahia, and she got me a burgundy envelope, and that's one of our colors. So it's a really great way for people to understand what to expect before the wedding day itself. So you can do so many things with that. You really can.
Okay, last question, ladies. You ready?
Yeah.
Do you prefer, and this could be personally, of course, or speaking on behalf of, a whole publication, whatever. Do you prefer in design having kind of a theme to go with? Oh, and we love our themes, don't we? The Game of Thrones theme and the Gatsby themes, and so do you prefer having a theme to work with or a color to work with?
I would prefer color. I think for me, I would rather have a color and then ask them what the theme is overall, so I can tie the two in. But for me, it's easier to start with the colors. Go from there, and if they have a theme they want to incorporate, let's find cute little details to incorporate it, but it's not like the entire aspect of it. So that's just me, though.
I love a theme. I love a theme, but it's hard to find. Of course, Pinterest. It's hard to find, and like you said, once it's on Pinterest, it's there, and it's hard. I think that's really hard in design and style shoots in general, is finding something that you really love, but then making it your own. Like it's almost hard when everything's been done, but not everything's been done. So it's like finding that. How do I take this thing that I love, and this is, Harry Potter is really important to us, but how do we make it ours? I think that's the difficult part for couples. So I don't know. I'm torn.
Yeah,
I
I love them both for sure. And I mean, we've seen some, like we had a Doctor Who theme wedding that was, wasn't like crazy anything like that, but it was very subtly done because that's what they both loved. But then, like we said before, I love colors, so I love those different color palettes and not necessarily having the colors you think would go great together, and seeing all the beautifulness that comes out of that. So
Awesome.
Well, people are jumping on, saying hi. Again, we're going to probably loop these through again through all of our feeds. It's going to be a blog later on for you guys if you weren't able to catch it. I want to thank again my wonderful guest, Melanie from Melanie Page Events, Amanda with Orange Blossom Bride. Again, catch us on our different feeds. Feel free to comment, message us. Please feel free if you have any questions. If you're a planner, if you're looking to get a publication. And it was great chatting with you guys.
Yay!
Thanks for
Bye,
having me.
everyone. Here I come. Turn it off. Oh gosh, I can't do that. How do I end this?